Ah, okay, here we go, everybody. A Gathering of Eagles podcast about to begin. I've got my friends here, Peggy and CW, and we have our friends on Pine Ridge, 13. Tom, welcome for the group. We'll be, I'll be working with them through the phone, and we have six grandmothers up near Green Bay, Wisconsin. One of them, Grandmother Jan, has been on before as part of the group from Pine Ridge. She is indigenous. I'm not sure if the rest of the grandmothers are, and you know what? It doesn't really matter. And my friend Christopher just hopped in. Chris is often one of our co-hosts as well, so it's good to see him. We're going to dig into this tonight and see where it goes. We were just CJ and Peggy and I were here a little early, so we were just chatting. And Chris, I just muted you. You had it on again. Um, yeah, we were talking about how some things are really looking up. To me, there's a lot of reasons to hope now. I'm seeing the changes all the time. So this may come into the cards tonight. We are going to pull some cards. Um, I'm going to use Jamie Sam's deck. I knew Jamie when we both lived near Santa Fe, and I can speak a little bit of her before we start. And then we've got the Spirit of the Wheel cards. Now, Jerry was going to deal with those because he's used them a lot. They're new to me. So if Jerry doesn't get here in time, we'll probably use some and we'll just see where they go. And sometimes it's good to use new cards. So we're out of that. We're going to be some stories, some understandings from each of us. I like the fact that we kicked it off with this sense of hope. And for everybody listening now, when we came on early, CW was talking about working hard now to advance from the position he felt he was in. And we just chatted a little bit more because he said the word bad at some point, I think. And now we've modified that to learning experiences. And we all have them because if there's somebody who's perfect, I've yet to meet them. So yeah, that'll enter into this. And Peggy brought in the hope factor, which I've been talking a lot about. So I think they will probably pop up in the cards, or they may not. We'll just see. Christopher, welcome, my brother. Now we need you to unmute. There we go.
Yeah.
Chris is a brother and a partner and one of the co-hosts on this, and he's in New Zealand. So he's here we're bringing in the eagle up here, guys. He's bringing in the condor down there.
Yeah. So, hello, everybody, and greetings. Lovely to have you all here again. And I presume we've got our brothers and sisters from Pine Ridge as well. So,
We
thank you
do,
very much.
we do.
Wonderful.
I'll just give you a quickie on that. We've now got 13 um, brothers and sisters on Pine Ridge. Six of them are young people. And we have now six grandmothers up in Wisconsin. They're near Green Bay. And that's the group
Oh,
that grandmother Jan brought in, who was with us, if you remember, before.
yes.
So I'm going to try to balance two streams on the phone. None of these folks have good connection. So how we do that is they're listening on the phones. Mine's right here next to it. And then they'll type in comments, questions, so we can bring them into the discussion. This is a process of the circle. So we welcome people to participate. We have here, for those of us online, just put a hand up or hit the electronic hand so we keep it flowing in a good way. Let's open first. Hey, Chris, would you do a little opening for us? A little prayer or thought or whatever?
Yes. As we all gather here today, I'd like to welcome in the spirit of the earth, her energy, her life-giving qualities, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the food we eat, and the sun that warms us. Realizing and feeling how they play such a vital part in our world. And when we realize the importance of these, it often helps us deal with the other things. And finding that balance in whatever part of our experience we're in, because balance is always there, it's just a matter of finding it. And I ask that we be guided to that through our conversation and our meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Excuse me. So our other guest here, let's see, CJ, you came in first. Would you like to say hello or why you're here, or do you want to just sit silently? There's no right or wrong in this thing.
See me?
Yeah, CW, I'm sorry.
Well, I,
But
I honestly, I've, I mean, time is so constructed on this life that we think we're living now in my head, and I thought I had some free time, and I saw where you had posted in the Hummingbird group,
mhm.
and like I said, I'm wanting to learn, and I mean, I guess whenever I mentioned mistake earlier, it's more or less that. You know, I come with a lot of good. I have made mistakes and the bad, but I don't bring too much baggage. But I mean, I have my suitcase that I'm trying to slowly unpack in a safe, healthy way, and I'm trying to be there for others too on the journey with their suitcases.
Beautifully said. And if you have any extra time, maybe help me with my suitcase. And CW is coming to us from the south. So we're all over the place today. And then Peggy is here from,
Hey, hi everybody.
okay, Peggy.
Hello, everybody. I'm up in the middle of Ontario in Canada, in Muskoka, and I'm here because I heard Jerry Maynard speak in a medicine circle that I've become part of, and I really appreciated what he shared and how he shared it. So, and I think there's been a lot of conversation about how we walk and how we're walking the red road, and how we do that. And, we're all on this red road for sure. I was thinking about the luggage. That's the joy of the red road, is that we walk our own pace, we walk our own path, we stop when we need to, we sit down, we do whatever is going to be in our best interests and in the interests of the road. And we can put down our luggage on that road at any time, and it will graciously accept it on our behalf. And we can walk on without whatever's not serving us. So I always remember that when I feel like I've got a little bit too much on my shoulders. I always remember that, the red road is a good place to set it down. Yeah. And it's okay if you're walking slow or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It's your journey.
Yep.
You can't really do it wrong as long as you're going from your heart and doing it from a place of love. So I love being around people that are really emphasizing the fact that we have to just be the love, and that's how we're going to simplify the world, and that's how we're going to repair things. And it sounds easy. It's not easy to be the loving individuals all the time, but I do know from practice that the more often I am loving, the easier it gets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just really happy to be here, and I appreciate that you create this space.
Yeah.
And the
I'm glad you're
Eagles,
here.
boy, we've been organizing the farmers across Canada. I'm on the front line doing a lot of stuff, and I'm out there.
Good.
And we across the country did these farmers love our farmers on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't happen very often, but it often happens when we're doing something special. We had a bald eagle fly over.
Mm.
So
Perfect.
that for everybody gets that as a message, even if they don't know the teachings around it. Everybody gets it. It's so cool.
We'll see if it comes up in the cards. It wouldn't surprise me. And that's really interesting. We've had rain here for like 6 days, which is incredibly unusual this time of year. And this morning was sun. Today's been sun. And so about 8 o'clock this morning, I had a friend who was leaving, and as she left, a bald eagle flew right across the back of the property. So the eagles are here. It's a gathering of eagles. Chris, I'm glad you're back down to one person. Two is too much. Kara, welcome. Anything to say in opening? If you do, come on, and if not, that's okay.
Hello.
Hey there.
I'm figuring out some new technology, but it's good to be here. I don't have a camera, so it will just be my voice today.
That's okay. We can imagine.
Yeah. It's good outline there.
That's right. If I have a picture, I can post it. No, I won't do that. And Kara's here from Victoria, right?
The Olympic Peninsula, south of Victoria.
Okay, south of. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're scattered around a bit today. That's really good. A lot of eagles, one condor, but even the eagles are scattered around the country. So perfect. Whoops. Okay, so Tom for the group in Pine Ridge is saying they're really glad to be here. He's reminding me they've got now 7 young people as part of their group of 13. So they're looking forward to this, and they would like to they'd like to be involved when we start choosing cards, which absolutely, of course, Tom, we can do some here in online and we can do some with you guys. And grandmother's here, likewise saying, okay, grandmother's got a sense of humor. She's gone, okay, Graywolf and Christopher was here before too. I warned you we would come, and here we are. That's pretty good. Kara.
Oh yeah, I also have my decks of cards here too. If we want to use them for anything, I'm
Oh,
happy to do that.
what do you have?
I have the Pathways cards, and
Okay.
I have the Animal Medicine cards, and I also have the 13 Original Clan Mothers book.
Okay, good. We may do that because Jerry's hung up in some emergency meeting, so he'll be here, but we don't know when.
Yeah.
So so we can I've got Jamie's cards, Jamie Sam's, and then I got the Spirit of the Wheel, which I just got, but it's actually one that Jerry uses. So I don't know it much yet, but that
Hmm.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
It does. Yeah, the hope piece, I think, and I'm getting something again from, okay. Yeah, Tom was sharing with me earlier. We came on here earlier today because he was having some phone connection problems with me. The postings we've been doing around hope is something that they're really interested in and it's really helping. Okay. And Peggy, we may dig into that later too, because I really like the way you were talking about that. There's so many things to be hopeful now. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed. There's a lot of things that look horrific, but we got to always remember that old teaching that things always look worse before they get better, or the darkest time is before dawn. All those platitudes, they happen to be correct quite often. And so what I'm seeing is things start to crash in a good way, so we can put it back together in love and light and spirit, and that's what I'm seeing start. And we'll see if it comes into the cards. If not, we may add it in the end. We may not. But I think the next show, I chatted briefly with Jerry earlier. I think we're going to do the next one on hope because it is right now, it is critical. And we all got to build on that. We definitely got to build on that because if we go into despair or even doubt, we're not going to make it. So with that, Tom, anything else from your folks or grandmother? Okay. So from the grandmothers, again, they're near, where did I say they were near? They're in Wisconsin. Anyway, they are not on the res. I thought she lived on the res. She does not. Um, but that, it doesn't matter. So they are, they're very tuned into the Jamie Sams cards. Okay, good. And Jamie was an amazing grandmother, so I get it. Makes total sense. And we will use Jamie's cards because they're the ones I know the best, Grandmother Jan. So be sure we will. The way we've done this before is people just pick a page and we'll go to it and we'll see what's there. And I'll read out the teaching, or Kara on her cards will read out a teaching, and then we'll discuss it. See if it's pertinent to the circle or to us, either individually or as part of the circle, and see what comes, and then move on to another one. Sometimes they'll trigger a story, which I'll tell if something comes up, or if any of you, Tom up there, or grandmother, if any of you have a story you want to, if I know it, I can tell it for you. If not, you'll have to type short version. Okay, does that make sense? Let's do it. I think let's start with Jamie, because I always feel got two dogs running around. They're hungry. Jamie Sands. Yeah, Jamie was Native American, part Cherokee and part, I can't remember what her other tribe was. Doesn't matter.
She was Seneca.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're right. It was Cherokee and Seneca. She was an amazing presence. I ran into her when I lived in Santa Fe for a couple of years because I had a book published at the same time one of hers was being published, and we were sharing promotional places, marketplaces, gatherings. We spoke together a few times. And so I got a nice in-depth understanding of her cards and what she was all about. And they're really powerful cards. I have found them for me, to be the most powerful cards I've ever used. And I know some people use cards a lot, but there's tons of people who've never used cards. So it's a good place to start, is Jamie's. And if anybody wants to ever get them, I suggest the original one. It's the medicine cards. Get the original one that's just Jamie as the author. There's two decks. They're both excellent. The other one she did with another person shortly before she passed. She died about 7 years ago now, I guess it is. And that was the whole thing in itself. There might be a teaching in that too. She was very much into providing stories that would help people to move forward, to heal themselves and to heal the circle. I wrote a lot about circle back then, so that was our strong connection. We talked a lot about circle. I had just learned that I had native blood when we first met, so that was kind of interesting. Forget where I was going with this. Well, it was that connection of circle. And a lot of her teachings do that. They bring in things you look at and evaluate and start working on. And often there's multiple meanings. So if I read a card, I might see it one way. If others see it differently, that's great. Just, we'll go with that. We'll see where it leads. Jamie, near the end of her life, she had a lot of physical issues in her life. And she passed away with a end of life directive, which she did not want any extraordinary means. And either the hospital missed that or ignored it. She always thought they ignored it, and they brought her back. And she was not amused. But she also realized, okay, there's something else I need to teach. So she started teaching about free will. She started teaching about how we work from this side, but also from the spirit side. And she was probably another couple years before she did pass. And this time they respected her wishes because she was in a lot of physical pain by then. So I think that leave taking was quite amazing. It gave her the chance also, she shared this with me, to work on anger. She was extremely angry that she was brought back, understandably, you can't, there's nothing beyond last wishes, right? So she was extremely angry, and she really had to go deep, deep, deep to work on that and to work on forgiving and to understand we can forgive anything. And with what's going on now, we're going to need to forgive too to get through this. Yes, we got to make changes. Yes, we're starting to do it, but we are going to have to be forgiving things to move ahead properly, I believe. And I've seen that throughout my life, so not a big surprise. Okay, so that's Jamie. Any questions about Jamie? Anything else, you guys? Okay, from
I would,
Grant.
I would
Yeah,
just add,
go ahead.
I would just add one thought to the besides the hope. Um, we also need to have faith in ourselves because we have everything we need. We know everything, everything's there,
Hmm.
and we are going to be opened up to accessing it more. The universe is very supportive of us connecting with our gifts, and I think people are going to really feel that. It's going to manifest quite beautifully. But I also think the forgiveness, the Ho'oponopono,
Yep.
I think that's the gateway how we start the shifting. I don't know, but that's my gut feeling, and that's sort of where I've been working from. But also, we have to have courage. We need to have courage in those
Yep.
beliefs. We need to, because without courage, nothing happens. So it's like the alchemist. We got to have hope, faith, love, of course, and courage. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well said. I totally agree. And trust as well. We can throw trust in that batch as well. Yeah, my model that I've operated on for years and years, and I've been around a while, so I've been through a lot of these shifts, never anything like this, is apex, action, prayer, education, and ceremony. And I believe we have to do them all. No one of them is going to solve this. So there's days I stand up with the people who are standing up. There's days I'm out there doing ceremony like I did this morning. There's days I just sleep, but that doesn't count. Or maybe it does. I shouldn't say that. Everything counts. I do a lot when I sleep. Sometimes I don't sleep. Kara.
Yeah, I just wanted to share also that I've been working with Jamie Sam's cards
I didn't know that.
since you sent them to me pretty much every day. And so she has the medicine cards, and I have the second version. You have the original version,
Hmm.
but she also has the Sacred Path cards, which
Yes,
I think she made them before. Oh, you have the Sacred Path cards too, right?
I do. Yep.
Yeah. And I just wanted to, I guess, say that like I feel like those have some really impactful teachings that, some people here might be really familiar with, but some people might not be. So yeah, wanted to share that.
No, that's really good. Yeah, and grandmother said they open each one of their meetings by pulling a card or two from Jamie Pan's Sacred Path cards. So, and a couple of them knew her as well. So yeah, the way the connections are coming about is really, I love it. It's awesome. CW came in via Jose, because that's the Hummingbird Ranch he talked about. Peggy via our brother Jerry, and the rest of us different ways. Tom up on Pine Ridge, I met years ago, and he's followed things we do. So it's just, yeah, keep connecting the dots. Okay, shall we pull a card and get going? And again, we'll pull a card. I'll read it, or Carol will read it. Chris, I don't think you have those decks. You might, but I don't think so. Um, and then we'll talk about it. What we see, what we feel. We'll take it from there. And I'm trying to do the two phone things at the same time. So so bear with me. I'll do my best. Oh wow. Okay. Eh. So there's four more people. Looks like there's 16 on Pine Ridge now. Okay. Um, would one of us here like to pick a number for a page? Start with us and then move to the Yeah, no, I didn't think you did, Chris. They're not ones you had. I know we used them when you were here, but that doesn't count for this.
How many pages are in the book?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to say 144.
All right, let's
Is there
see.
page 144?
There sure is. We're being guided, Peggy, so 144. 144, which is a 9, which is completion. Very good. Oh, wow. This is really interesting. So I was doing something with another group the other day, and the same card came up. So let's pay attention. It means repetition means pay attention, folks. So this one is, and we've got 2 women here in our talking circle, and we've got the grandmother's circle, and we've got others. This one is Moon Lodge, the woman's lodge. And here we go. Moon Lodge, place of receiving, time of going within, observance of body cycles, renewing life again, retreating in the silent, sacred Black Lodge of the West, woman child and grandmother. Earth Mother gives you rest. And these all open with a short poem. Kara, do you want to do the teaching or do you want me to?
Sure, I can read it.
Yeah, since it's the woman's lodge, it kind of makes sense. You know?
Sure, sounds good. The Moon Lodge is the place of woman, where women gather during their menstrual time to be at one with each other and the changes occurring in their bodies. Long ago, during this special time of moon cycles, women were removed from duties of family and allowed to retreat to the Moon Lodge to enjoy the company of their sisters. Traditionally, the moon time is a sacred time of women when she is honored as a mother of creative force. During this time, she is allowed to release the old energy her body has carried and prepare for reconnection to the Earth Mother's fertility that she will carry in the next moon or month. Our ancestors understood the importance of allowing each woman to have her sacred space during this time of reconnection, because women were the carriers of abundance and fertility. Women were the mothers who would increase the tribe by bearing children, bringing fertility to crops through their connection to Mother Earth, and holding the dreams of the nation in their wombs until those dreams become a reality. During their moon, they were barren and could not conceive, so it was their time of rest. Nobody would stop a woman from the necessary retreat during the moon time. To do so would be a dangerous move on the part of any tribal member. To insist that a woman carry on family duties or chores would break the reconnection period for the woman involved. This could inflict the wrath of Earth Mother. Thus, if any woman was denied her right to connect to Grandmother Moon and or Earth Mother, fertility and abundance could not be assured for the tribe or nation. Much of this connection has been lost in our modern world, and it is my opinion that many of the problems modern women experience in connection with their sexual organs could be relieved by honoring the need for retreat and reconnection with their true mother and grandmother, the earth and the moon. As Grandmother Moon is the weaver of the tides, the water or blood of Earth Mother, so a woman's cycle follows the rhythm of that weaving. When women live together in a common place, their bodies begin to regulate their menses, and all will eventually have their moon times concurrently. This natural rhythm is one of the bonds of sisterhood. Women honor their sacred path when they acknowledge the intuitive knowing inherent in their receptive nature. In trusting the cycles of their bodies and allowing the feelings to emerge within them, women have been seers and oracles for their tribes for centuries. In our Seneca tradition, the governing body of the nation comes through the 8 clans, and each clan has a clan mother. These women have the final say in all situations. It has been understood that all growth must come from woman. Like the clan mothers, in learning to use the gifts of intuition and wisdom, each woman can access the truth that will guide her on the sacred path. The Medicine Lodge and the Moon Lodge of Women are sometimes called Black Lodges. The color black is the color of the West on the medicine wheel. West is the place of women and the place of all our tomorrows in the home of Bear. A bear retreats into the cave to digest the information and food gathered during the year. So women retreat to the Moon Lodge to honor the gifts she has received from the Earth Mother during the past moon. The blackness of the night sky is dominated by grandmother's silvery light and is female in nature. This is another reason the women's lodges are called the Black Lodge. It is during their moon time that the women share their visions, dreamings, experiences, and talents. Since the Black Lodges are forbidden to men, just as the warrior societies and clans are forbidden to women, each gender is allowed to reconnect with others within their brotherhood or sisterhood who can support them and mutually share the things that they have learned that will strengthen the whole. The Black Lodges are the center of the women's medicine and the unity of sisterhood. In Native traditions, each stage of a female's growth is cherished and explained to growing girls becoming women. The teaching begins before the girl's first menstrual flow and is marked by rites of passage. Each female in the tribe is shown the honor in being the mother of creativity or the creative force. Each is taught about the moon cycle when she is ready to be a tide weaver like her grandmother Moon. She is taught to respect her body and its needs. Each woman is shown the understanding of what it means to be female and is prepared to take her role among the other women of the tribe. This includes learning the duties of being a wife and mother, making crafts, developing creativity, using intuition, developing her talents and gifts, understanding ceremony and ritual, assisting in birthing babies, and using her connection to her personal totems and medicine. During their moontime, women were not allowed to prepare food, to dance, participate in ceremony, or to share any life activity with men. Many people today have misinterpreted this custom. This tradition originated because the women needed to nurture themselves during the barren period. Think of the relief this retreat would provide a modern woman and her family who have put up with their natural mood swings. The belief among those who misunderstood this practice was that women were dirty during their moontime, but in truth, it was the highest honoring of women. It was considered a woman's right to retreat for feeding and nurturing by Earth Mother, as she had fulfilled her responsibility of nurturing others during the rest of the month. The unique Moon Lodge teaching of womankind are geared to allow each female to relate to the mother and grandmother energies. That is to say, the roles of women are explored in depth. The mother nurturer is one role that a woman will experience during her earth walk and will entail pregnancy and the delivery of offspring, as well as a deep abiding love and care of the growing youngsters. Children are honored for their particular talents and are guided by their mother to accept, honor, and develop those gifts with joy. The grandmother role was very important. When a male child was 7 years of age, his grandmother would retreat to the Black Lodge and dream or smoke the young boy's future mate. Discussion with grandfather would follow, and then the grandmother would begin the making of the ceremonial buckskin that would be the wedding garb for the future. When the young man came of age and chose a girl he was interested in taking as a wife, he would go to the grandparents and ask permission before approaching the girl's father. If she was the girl whom grandmother had dreamed, she was accepted. If not, he was to wait and look further. This function of the grandmother was one of the most revered in tribal law. Each vision or medicine dream that came to a grandmother was highly honored and sacred. Each grandmother knew the size of her grandson and his mate and sewed the wedding clothes accordingly. This was a true test of the abilities of the grandparents as seers. Women were expected to be chaste as maidens until the courting period preceding an actual marriage, and to be faithful as wives. In some Plains tribes, however, when a young woman was married, she was allowed to pick who she would share her buffalo robe with before she agreed to marry. In these tribes, this selection process was considered a woman's right. In understanding that her body was sacred and an extension of Mother Earth, she understood that all acts of pleasure, abundance, and fertility were part of female nature. In experiencing the coupling for the first time, each woman was respected and loved gently, so that no harm would come to the Earth Mother or to the tribe through rough sexual treatment of the woman. Sexuality was understood to be a natural and sacred pleasure. Each woman was prepared through many lessons given by other women in the Moon Lodge. Sexuality was looked upon as a natural act of fertility. As earth and sun created food for the people's survival, so did men and women create offspring through their shared love. Originally, the woman nearly always had the final say as to which warrior she chose to share her life or body with. The exception to the rule was if she had been taken prisoner by another tribe, or if her family was so poor they needed connections with strong hunters or wealthier relations who would then be responsible for the welfare of both families. When the boat people, Europeans, came to Turtle Island, the Americas, they came to the eastern shores and coined the word squaw. This word was adopted and used as they moved west. The other Native Americans did not know where the word came from, and it has been used to name areas of the land across the West. In truth, this word is a defamation of woman. It comes from an Algonquin word, nesqua, or no squaw, which means no penis. The Algonquin women screamed these words as they were being raped. To call a Native woman a squaw is to call her a penis that destroys our honoring of women as well as opens old wounds. If the Moon Lodge teachings of the tribe and tribal honoring of women were violated by a red man, those violations were punishable by death. For the old wounds to be healed in a successful, creative way, it is time for women to use the idea of the Moon Lodge and retreat to the sanctity of sisterhood. Women must learn to love, understand, and thus heal each other. Every person has a male and a female side. Each enters the silence, the heart, the silence of the heart, to discover the beauty of retreat and receiving. The Moon Lodge can be a symbol for men and women alike. Retreating and digesting the feeling of life's experiences have created is very healing.
Hey,
So then the
Carol,
application,
when you
yeah,
think, are you at the application? Good.
yeah. And so then the application is that the Moon Lodge speaks of retreat. Take a break. Your influence cannot be felt at this time because you are in need of replenishing your own energy. This is a barren time, in a sense, because you need to be alone and honor yourself for a change. Retreat is not an act of weakness, it is an act of strength. Without retreat, the future cannot take hold in the present. Make note that you are preparing for the time of fertile action by taking rest now. Being alone at this time will allow you to do the things that give you joy without interference. Remember that miracles can happen when you repose and allow yourself to come to your new starting place in a gentle way. That's that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hmm.
It looks like there's people waiting, but I can't get to the waiting room to. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. Too many people. I couldn't figure it out. Here's Sarah. Here's Jerry. And Chris was coming in again on a different. Okay. This is nuts. Hi, guys. And hi, Denise. We didn't get to welcome you because we were in the midst of that card. So welcome. Where are you coming in from, Denise?
Denise, you're muted.
New York State.
Okay. All right. So we're all over the place. And Sarah, I know, but no one else knows where you're coming from.
Key Largo.
Yep, Florida. Okay. So we're literally all over the Mac. CW had to leave. He had something else. He said at the beginning he'd only be here a while. So we're glad he was here. And thank you, CW. He's going to watch the rest of it later. Yeah. So the women's card came. The Moon Lodge came up, Jerry. This was the first card we picked. And everybody else. The Women's Lodge. So two of the young women in Pine Ridge here are talking about they just recently went through their initiation as women in the Red Tent. So we actually have a good friend here who runs a Red Tent Lodge, and the women come together every month. I think it's near full moon. Is that right, Karen? I think Karen knows.
I don't remember when she was holding it,
Yeah, I don't either,
but it was once a month. Yeah, so it's probably the full moon or else it's the new moon.
it's one or the other. So yeah.
Yeah.
And any of the young women, yeah, definitely are given space and time and initiated into their womanhood. So for many of the moon lodges in the east of the medicine wheel, new creation, new times, which is why pulling it now makes sense because it's exactly where we are. We're creating new times, like Peggy put so beautifully earlier. We're creating new spaces, new times, creating the new earth. It's already happening. We're going to have to get through rocky things, but man, it's awesome the way things are going. So who wants to speak to? Okay, Kara's got her hand up, so that answers that. You got it.
Hey. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a couple of things, but first, I find it really lovely and interesting that the Seneca tradition feels a little bit different in the way that they view the medicine wheel from ways that I have learned in the past from Hopi and from yourself and from other teachers. And so, yeah, I really like hearing just the different way that she talks about the medicine wheel and her idea of like the door in the east, rather than it just being this like place of beginning. And I think as far as the Moon Lodge, I also really resonate with it being in the West because the West is a place, again, a mutt of traditions, right? That I've learned from. Um, and but the West, from what I've learned, is a place of rest. It's the coming of the end of the day, right? It's this transition between the doing and the action, and then the wisdom that comes from the doing, right? From the living. And so, yeah, I think that there's something really powerful to be pulled from here to in this time of great transition is that action is important, yes, and we do actions every single day, many times a day. And I think that it's really amazing that we pulled this card because it's such a reminder of, and when are we giving ourselves space to just be? Where are we giving ourselves spaces just to soak in the nutrients of the doing and how important that is for the transition? How important that lovely, sweet moments of just sitting together in communion with one another and the earth and the sky and how important that is. Anyway, I have so many like bubbly, juicy, sweet feelings about it. And I am so curious about where and how people create these spaces for themselves or, also what's connecting for you around this card. So thank you.
That was great. Thank you. And you really read it well, by the way. So from the grandmothers, which, because I'd forgotten, they're near Green Bay. That's where it was. So I thought they were on the res. Jerry, they're not on the res. They're near Green Bay, and 6 of them are on here tonight with Grandmother Jan. And from them, remembering there's no right or wrong. Would love to hear what you and Jerry think of this. We look at the Red Lodge in the South, the place of procreation and creation. So, oh, And this is a very powerful card. Interesting, it came up tonight. So yeah, that's putting it in the east, the south, and the west. So maybe it's wherever it needs to be. Okay. Jerry, what do you got on that?
Well, I remember at the last podcast, the Red Lodge came up also with the card. What I'm looking at is the overall basis of the Moon Lodge, and so I hesitate to speak from a woman's standpoint. I'm a man, but what I'm seeing for all of us, how this fits for all of us, and why it keeps coming up is these are purification times. These are times that each of us are being purified, and those things that we have to deal with are being brought to the forefront. And we have to cleanse ourselves of them. We have to cleanse ourselves of them and find that balance as we go through that process and realize it's a process, and it's a time to be thankful for. Just like the Women's Moons Lodge. It's a time to honor that energy and that time. And that time, like Kira said, very well spoken, by the way, Kira, it's a time to be. And we have gotten away from that. And because we've gotten away from that, all the doings that are going goofy in this world right now, we focus on doing. And we focus on, oh no, what we're going to do isn't going to work. How do we do this? What do we do? But if we remember to be, then no matter what doings are going on, we can come from that place of beingness, that place of center, of balance. And then no matter what the outer world goes on, we have that center balance within us so that we can go through whatever needs to be done in a good way. And this is just what came to my mind because that card has come up twice now, and relating it to what's going on a global scale as well as a personal scale.
Yeah, perfect. And I mentioned it had come up recently. I couldn't remember when it was, Jerry, but that's where it was. And here it's the first one. And actually, Peggy is the one who called out the number. So that makes total sense too, because a woman called it out here, a woman read it. And the grandmothers said, Jerry, they said, yes, appreciate the respect, but we asked you and Jim what you thought. So we are responding to their. I thank grandmother. And she's right. And yeah, these are times we have to share amongst everybody. So yeah. I'm not sure. I've always been taught that that lodge was in the east, but I really love this this fact that it could be in multiple places, which to me is another. Not only has it come up multiple times, but it can be in different positions. I see that. I understand it. And it's not just about the women right now, as Jerry said. Absolutely. Everything right now is about everybody in one way or another. Whoa, okay.
Peggy has her hand raised.
Yeah, I'm juggling between. Yeah, Peggy?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to help.
Okay, thanks.
You're doing a good job juggling all that technology, boy. That's a gift in itself. Oh, this is lovely, and thank you, Kira, for reading that out, and for so many grandmothers to be on here. I've never thought about the Red Lodge being a grandmother and being at a different age, and I can't help but think that it must have been a beautiful time to watch the young women go, and then I would think I would go there and sit with them. And that would be beautiful opportunities to reinforce, and share and just be there for each other. So I just thought, I've never thought about it from being a grandmother or an elder in the community and going and joining the women in the lodge, because of course we'd have access to that space for ourselves too. And as a busy working woman in a camp, having that say, okay, I gotta go, bye, and go and take care of yourself. It's really powerful, and I understand now, I think much better, that we're missing that reprieve. And the men the same, because the men did the warrior work that way in their solitude. So Oh, just gives me shivers, making me think, we're going to go back. We're going to go back to these ways. We're going to get there. Might take a while.
Yeah, I agree. We're relearning so many things, but we're also creating new because this is not about just going back and doing it the way it was because it hasn't worked. Nothing did. Some things work better than others. But I think we now can do things so they work out in a better way. And I just want to add here, this is really I think this is cool. Hey, Jerry, I'm curious what you think too, but where is it? Okay. So we've got the grandmothers, there's 6 of them near Green Bay, and we've got the group, oh, it's either 14 or 15 now. And now 7 of them are young people. And the young people have, while we were doing this, reached out to the grandmothers who were on. And so they are all going to have a call together in the next couple of days. I think that's beautiful. And Jerry, you're on, your hands up anyway.
No, I'm agreeing with that sentiment that this is what we've prayed for. This is what we wanted to see. This is what you young people have asked for. That community that you're forming it, you're doing it, and it makes me so happy beyond words. My heart is full, and I thank you, grandmothers and young, because you're walking that path. You're being the change. You're being the example, and I thank you so much. The other thing I was going to say is that so this is a time where we drop all delineating borders and boundaries that separate us, including so all these teachings about the Red Lodge. We're finding it's all the different directions. The reason they come from the different directions is because each group for their understanding and their teachings with the land where they were from. Those it's not about right or wrong exactly because every perspective is welcomed and every perspective brings wholeness and we bring if we bring it all together we can see how it all works together and how that beautiful truth has been maintained through all the tribes in their own way. That truth shines through, whether it's from the west perspective or the east perspective or the south and the north. The truth of the matter is that center perspective is where all this comes from. And so we have to be flexible in our ways of seeing things too, rather than, well, but this was my teaching. Yes, this was your teaching. And what I was taught was that these beautiful teachings are all based on the same original way of thinking, which were based on the original instructions that we were given. As Native people, we've held on to those things and we've kept them. And as we come together, we can see how those original instructions were kept and cherished and how they come through because that beautiful way of thinking is reflected through each teaching, whether it's from the east or from the west or wherever that resides for your people, for whatever teaching, those beautiful things come through. And with that, I'll put the talking stick back in the middle.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is a great meeting. Thank you all for being here. Anybody have anything to say, add, or we'll go on to another one?
Yeah, can I add one little thing?
Of course you can.
Great. I was just perusing the 13 Original Clan Mothers book and wondering what moon we're in or we're moving into. And the name of the clan mother for this moon that we're moving into is called Walks Tall Woman. And I just think it's really interesting that her teachings are around how to be our personal best and still be vulnerable and human, how to keep our bodies and our mind flexible and in good health through advancing and through retreating, and how to seek and find new paths to grow and learn, and how to develop our inner strength. So I just feel like there's that moon cycle in her teachings, Walks Tall Woman, is so connected to the lodge and sort of what we started talking about tonight. And it sounds like what a lot of us are experiencing in the greater world. And I just think that's a really beautiful synchronicity to bring in.
Yeah, I agree. And again, the way these circles are just forming and reforming, I love. The Jamie Sams card, Kara spent some time here at my place, and we did a lot of things together. And we were pulling the Jamie Sands cards quite a bit. So here they are now in this greater circle. And yeah, this is definitely the time of change. And even this show tonight, I feel like I'm juggling 35 different balls. And I was really nervous coming on because I didn't know who the hell was going to show up. We just have to let it go. And whatever happens is what happens. And sometimes it's pretty and sometimes it ain't. And I see it looks like Chris is back. It looks like he's not able to get good connection, but I see the hand. Are you actually there, Mr. Christopher? Ah,
Yes, I am. I just wanted to add, this is possibly a side note. In the last 6 months, I've been very aware all the teachings that I've been getting have predominantly been working around empathizing with women's perspective, tuning into learning to feel what it's like for women and to listen to that. And what everybody's sharing here tonight, I'm finding really helpful with those teachings. And for me, a lot of it has been coming from the mother as well as those around me. And for me, it's been the time of learning to listen to that feminine energy coming through. And it's been really nice at times, and other times it's been quite confronting. So, yeah, thank you for this.
no, that was good. Thank you so much. Hey, Jerry, I'm muting you when you're not speaking because for some reason I get a feedback when it's something in our connection again. Um, yeah, okay. So, Tom says they're kind of deferring to the grandmothers tonight, especially since the way this began. And he's thrilled that the young women and the older women are connected. And from the grandmothers, they are saying, I'm going to paraphrase because this is pretty long and it comes from the group collectively. They appreciate the respect. They appreciate the fact of the card that we chose. No coincidences. It sounds like us talking. I say that all the time. But they also want us to remember now in this re-earthing. Yeah, they use the word re-earthing. As this new earth is coming about, that this is the time men and women have to come together equally and in harmony. The men have got to tamp it down, the women have got to raise it up, but neither one can be docile. No, dominant. Neither one can be dominant this time. And the young people are getting it. Some of us older ones have to relearn that. I think that's a great point. That really, really is. And I've been working on that a lot. I have for a long time, but especially lately, because so many of the prophecies do talk about that. Whew. Kara.
Thanks. I feel like I'm being so chatty, so just, let me know if I need to tamp
No,
it
no,
down.
no. Go.
It's always welcome when you speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to share because I think that is a really beautiful sentiment. And as somebody who's been trying to figure out, I've spent most of my life working in very male-dominated fields. And so I have had a very colonizer masculine energy about me. And I say colonizer because I had this really amazing experience last weekend at a women's retreat. One of the women there who was facilitating works primarily with men and helping them connect to their divine femininity or their feminine energy within, all beings. And so she had a lot of really interesting things to share. And I had a moment after giving another person a massage. I had this moment, you sit and you're feeling what's happening, what's shifting in your body, and my masculine side just was so excited. He was just, I've never felt such a lovely male excited presence in my life. He was just so stoked about yes, this is what we're made for. We are made for giving. I want to just be giving people my gifts, and these are my gifts. And he just was telling me, I am so tired of fighting. I'm so tired of protecting you against things that you don't need protection from. And he was just so adamant with me about like um, the masculine energy within me that just wants to give. And I really feel like, if it's in me, it's in all things in a lot of ways, right? For different perspectives. But so I have this curiosity now around how we look at masculinity and the masculine energy and the coming together of women and men. Because if my masculine side wants to be this giver, then I just imagine that the men around me also want that and are maybe don't have access to it because of the way some things are in our society or whatever. So I just wanted to add that story.
No, I love that. And the old role models, the worry basket that we put outside of the lodge and other ceremonies, toss that crap into worry baskets because they all have to evolve as well and shift. So it's good to hear you talking. Um, yeah, for me, it's been a lot of my journey, especially the last, God, 25 years, has been more with women than men because there's a lot more women who've been on this road. And so I've been lucky to work with women and understand things from their perspective and put my own in. And that's, boy, if we could all do that more, it would certainly help a ton. Hey, Jerry, I put in the chat. Can we pull a spirit wheel card next? I'm going to call on Chris first, too, and there's something else here. While this is happening, and I truly had a sense this was going to be a interesting show, but while this is going on, I had a friend reach out to me today, Michelle Flowers. Some of you may know her from Navajo land. And Michelle used to put on the Gathering of Healers every year. And the first few I helped her with, I was, lucky enough, she asked me to help her put them on. And there's a new younger man than us, who she introduced me to. So while we're doing this whole thing is evolving into a big gathering of people ready to heal the earth and ourselves going on or proposed to be going on this coming spring. And a Zoom call tomorrow morning, which was going to be between the three of us, is now growing into something else. So we're here. That would be in the south of the medicine wheel, birthing some things different even from this. So it's good to remember anything we do right now is not just about what we're doing right now. Everything is totally connected. So if we plant a seed here, the plant may come up over here. So we don't, what's the word? Don't judge anything. Don't have any expectations. We just do it, and then what comes, comes. I don't know why that felt like it belonged there, but it did. Chris, you had your hand up, I think. You brought it down, or is it still up? Or
Still there. I was
okay.
just wanting to confirm, yeah, what you were sharing, Kara. Very much resonate with that feminine aspect that I've been getting taken into a lot. There's just a natural sharing, caring, and wanting to pass that along. Very feeling place, way more than what I've been used to before. So thank you for sharing it the way you did.
Nicely said. Jerry, did you have a hand up? Somebody else had a hand up.
I had a hand up. I put it down.
Oh,
But yeah, I'll speak. First of all, um, okay, the people in Green Bay. Is there anyone of those grandmothers in Green Bay that know me? Uh, any of you a part of the water walk that takes place in Wisconsin several times in the surrounding area? Um, Mark Denning and his wife Shaban. Anyways, that can
they're
be
hearing you.
answered. That can be answered later. I just want to throw that out there. Also, I'm supposed to share a story that some of you may have heard already, but it's very fitting for what we're talking about. This story is the gifts of beauty. In creation times, the great mysteries had powerful gifts for everyone and everything created. Each creation was imbued with these beginning gifts. The first gift of beauty was love. Everything was given the power of love. This caused beings to cling together and care for each other in their nations, clans, families, and all relationships. The second gift of beauty was sound, speech, song. This allowed the power of love to be expressed, to strengthen all bonds. Everything emits its sound as it moves through its life. Humans, birds, animals, stars, galaxies, everyone has their sound, their song. The great mysteries had many gifts to give, but this meant that everything in creation would be a receiver. So there would be both givers and receivers. Everything was made identified as male or female. This is the third gift of beauty. The fourth gift of beauty was intuition, inner knowing, that soft, small voice, that guidance that connects us to our universal family, to Creator, and to all those beings and those guardians. When we listen and practice as givers and receivers with these gifts of beauty, we will understand the lessons of this world of great beauty, and it will allow us to perfect our spirit during this earth walk. And the reason I believe that I was told to share that is because what we're talking about here, and my elders always spoke of this time, and I mentioned to him about the solar cycle, and he said, yeah, this happened before. It goes to a teaching that speaks of that our conduct is reflected through space and time. The balance between male and female energy is off. That conduct is reflected through space and time. So father son, grandfather son, in the Hopi way, the father of ceremony, is reflecting that in these huge solar storms, this huge flux and imbalance, would some would label it as, on the surface, our own sun, because our conduct is reflected through space and time. And it's answered in return with grandmother, Mother Earth, going through the shifting and the changing, and together the earth and the sun create that life, our life, all life on this planet. That interdependence is what is needed to be remembered, as was spoken here earlier. I thank you for those who brought that up. That's what it was about. In all of our people's ways, there was that interdependence. There were women responsibilities in women medicine and men medicine and responsibilities. But those were delineated by our ancestors. That system was set up so there would have to be an interdependence. Only working together could there be harmony. And that was extended in our clan system and within our nation and within all nations. When all nations didn't have that interdependence and that unity of vision that we are all connected and all one, then there was imbalance within ourself. If we aren't within that balance of male and female energies within us, there is disharmony that's created too. The two are meant to work together as one. As one. That's what we need to return back to. A friend of mine showed me something that somebody showed him a card he had made. It was the beautiful picture of the earth. And it said, there is only we. And that's all the words that were on the card. There is no me, there's only we. The me way of thinking, the individual way of thinking that has engulfed this world, that dominant culture way of thinking, as I call it. There's several ways to look at it. I don't like the colonial way of thinking. I don't like using those terms because that creates separation too. But that me first attitude in that way of separation has created so much disharmony within ourselves, within our families, within our clans, within our nations, within our world. We have to get back to realizing that we are all in this together. We sink and swim together. The minute we try to strike out on our own, we break that harmony, we break that circle. There'll always be those who remember that, waiting and reaching out that hand for the one that got lost to come back. I thank you. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, perfect. And I always like that story. It's a good one. Yeah, and we all have things in our past, and our people do. And I'm a mongrel, so I have my own. And part of my DNA is Romany Gypsy, and the Gypsies are almost eradicated too. So at some point in history, we've all been abused. We've all been the abuser. We have to really work to come together. It doesn't mean forget. We don't have to forget, but we got to stop carrying that. I was in an interesting chat earlier today around Thanksgiving, and there's a lot of things that come up online, about Thanksgiving and not recognizing it, and how I put up a couple myself because they were funny. Um, but actually, it was Tom when we connected earlier today. He goes, I celebrate Thanksgiving. I give thanks to Creator for all we have. I don't celebrate the day, but I celebrate, and that's exactly what I do, and it's what I intend to do again this year. I'll be giving gratitude. I have several friends who will be doing prayers at the same time I do, so we're connected that way. And then there's a group I work with Jerry. I'm sure we'll all be giving thanks and prayers. So yeah, just because something was one way doesn't mean it has to stay that way. And I just felt that was a strong thing to put in there as well. Whew, this is really powerful. Thanks to everybody. This is awesome. Anything else on this bit? Or I thought maybe oh, there it is again. It's really strange, Jerry. I don't know why, but it's just ours. Um, I thought we would, and Tom had said earlier that nobody up there really knew the Spirit of the Wheel cards well either. So I think it's a good time to pick a Spirit of the Wheel card. You okay with that?
Yes.
So how do we?
So the Spirit of the Wheel cards, the Medicine Wheel cards, there's 40 of them. So if someone would like to pick a card, all you have to do is give us a number 1 through 40, and we will pull that card, and we will read about that card and share about that card. Is there anyone, including at Pine Ridge, that would like to be the one to select that card?
Yeah, they're not trying. They're coming to a consensus. Oh, that's really nice. So, not sure what I want to do that, but that's okay. Um, to thank me and out of respect to me, and as long as I've walked, they want to pull 38, which is an 11, which is my birth date for anybody who didn't know. So thank you, Tom. But did you have to remind me I had another year?
Do you want me to read it, Jim, or do you want to do it?
No, you can. That's unless you don't want to.
No, I can. Not a problem. I was just okay. 38. This card sits in the west. In this deck there are 3 stones that come from the western point that lead inward. This is number 38, which is experience, spirit path of the west. You are faced with letting someone you love live out their own life. Experience is something we cannot teach others. We can share what happened to us and how it has affected our lives. But until others have gone through their own experiences, there is no way of knowing how it will affect them. Learn to lead by example, drawing on the knowledge you have gained from your own experience. Let go of control and trust that the lessons you have taught your loved one in the past will serve them well with their own future choices. Take some time for reflection in your own life. Whatever situations you have recently undergone need time to settle. For it is only after reflection that we truly draw upon the knowledge gained and then move forward. Honor this knowledge you have gained and use it wisely to co-create a future that is aligned with your higher purpose. This card is also a reminder to live your life fully in the present, with no regrets over the past. There's a prayer that comes with it. I'll read that prayer. It says, Great Spirit, help me to accept the experiences of my life, to grow beyond my limitations and move forward. Help me allow others to live out their own life experiences by just offering my love and support along the way. I see some similarities in the theme here that's running through from the card that we just talked about to now. Anybody else? And with that, I'll put the talking stick back in the middle.
Yep, I sure do. And it's also interesting because I've been talking to various people about this. I think, Jerry, I think you and I did a while this morning too, about how there's people we may really love, feel strongly about, know where to work with them, or we were, and we have to let it go because this time we have to work through some things ourselves. We can be there for help and support if they ask. But yeah, that's a critical time. And I'm looking at the card. And so the words on the main side of it are letting go, movement forward, reflection. The animals on there, the primary ones, are the raven, the wolf, and the snake. So magic, protection, and rebirth. So yeah, I think, yeah, that's all I say on it. Anyone else?
That fits exactly with the red tint.
Yep, sure does. Peggy, you look like you got something to say. I can feel it.
Well, I've just had a sigh. Just a beautiful message, really. And once again, so positive, right? And yeah, just appreciate that so much. Live life fully. No regrets. No fear. If we do have the fear, figure out what the fear is and step into it. It's powerful.
Beautiful. Thank you, Peggy.
Thanks. I couldn't unmute. Thanks, Peggy. Perfect. Yeah. Typing is going on here too. So the connection between the younger and the older women here, and one of the grandmothers is pointing out, yeah, the young women reached out to them, and that's the way, and that's what this card tells us. We may have to let people go because they have to do their own thing, but they can reach out and ask as well. So, yep. And it does fit in with the women's one perfectly, I think. Anybody else? Any hands up? I was just going to say, I didn't see Kara's hand, but it should be there. Go ahead.
Yeah. This just reminds me about a women's circle that I was in. And there was a grandmother there who was, she was just talking about how she doesn't feel at home in the women's circles anymore because she's not bleeding anymore. And she feels like a lot of the young women and the circles that she'd been in really focus on that. And the reason this card sort of points this out to me, because then we had a beautiful was so opening and so healing for all of us around balance between young and old, right? This sharing of knowledge that young and old can do, that it's not just a passing down, but it's also a bringing up. And I feel like this idea of experience and going to people reaching out for support and also having support. And there's something there for me in that experience that was just so enlightening, that the elder women in my community really want support just as much as I want support, right? We all really want to be able to be there for each other. And it's hard to find the spaces where that's welcome, that sharing is welcome. And so I feel really grateful in my community that we're creating a women's circle where elder women can reach down to the youngers and say, hey, I need support around this. And where and younger women can reach up to our elders and say, hey, I really need your experience and your insight for this. So that card really got me thinking about that and connecting into that, and the balance between ages and the different cycles that we experience throughout our lives, and how full of knowledge and wisdom each cycle has. If we're willing to share it. Thank you.
Thank you. Hang on, something's going on with the room. Who is it? Ah. Okay. So it looks like we have others coming in still, which is great. Keep coming, folks. Welcome, Kai. And Jerry, to answer you from earlier, one of the grandmothers up there, Clarissa, thinks she remembers you, but you and a partner from in the past, and thinks she also remembers possibly both of us from things here. That would have been a long time ago. So, yeah, Clarissa, I don't know if that rings a bell. She hasn't done the walks herself, but she's well aware of them.
Well, thank you, Clarissa. And yes, my partner was Lori, and Lori passed away in March 22nd. She's still with me. She's still with us, and this is her way of coming through too. Thank you very much. And if you do see the rest of the people from that circle, those water walks, let them know that Jerry says hi, and they're in my prayers every day.
So they're sending their love, their sympathy, and their prayers.
I am having a little bit of trouble hearing Jerry, if that's just me.
We'll move him up closer to his mic. I can hear him, so I'm sorry. I couldn't judge it. Okay. Anything else to add at this point? Or, Jerry, do you have another story, or do we pick another card? What are you feeling?
I would like to pick another card. And how's my voice now? Can you hear me better? Okay.
Yeah, it's stronger.
Some adjustments.
Okay, good.
First, before we pick a card, if you give me a second here, I wanted to show people, and I don't know if I can. I'm trying to right now. I'm trying to get rid of the background so that they can literally see the diagram of the medicine wheel. But anyways, while I'm doing that, if someone else would like to pick another card, whether from the Jamie Sam's deck or the Spirit of the Wheel deck, we'll continue to see what the message Spirit has to give us.
Do we have anyone here in the online here who wants to pick a number? And you can say which deck if you want, or we can just go back and forth.
While someone is deciding, I will show the diagram of the medicine wheel. So the center card is creator. The small circle is the inner circle that deals with, it has grandmother earth, father sun, grandmother moon, and then the four elements, which in this way are delineated by the different clans, the turtle, the frog, the thunderbird, and the butterfly, which denote the different elements. The turtle represents the element of earth, the frog represents water, the thunderbird represents fire.
Hey, Jerry,
the butterfly represents air. Yes.
Put the picture down because then we can't hear you. It's either or.
Okay. So then I'll hold the picture up again so you can see where the spirit path of the west came from. The three stones in each one are the spirit path cards for each direction. So a little bit of background about the Spirit of the Wheel deck and the teachings that this is based upon. And these are based on Ojibwe teachings of the medicine wheel, by the way. Some of you may have heard of Sun Bear back in the 80s. He got a lot of flack from his people by sharing to the general public these teachings. Later on, Linda Ewashina got permission from her grandmothers and grandfathers to bring these teachings out once again. That's where the Spirit of the Wheel deck, that's the teachings of the Spirit of the Wheel deck is based upon. So while I was talking, has anybody decided they wanted to pick a card? I guess that would be no. Anybody in Pine Ridge, Jim?
We've got a 23 for Jamie Sams, if no one here has picked. 23. I'm not sure.
Looks like 23 it is.
Okay, let's see. Is that into the readings? We may need a different number. No, maybe we're all right. Okay, it's the first one. No coincidence. Or is it? No, it might be. Nope, it's how we pick the cards. It's the TP spread. So let's see if there's a teaching on TP. Because it's still in talking about the different ways you can pull the cards. Or Tom, if you want to pick a different number, that's okay too. It pretty much, I wouldn't tell Peggy before, but I'll give him a beginning number. It pretty much starts in the low, it looks like it starts in the 40s, high 40s. Heart starts at 44.
So maybe you're supposed to read card number 1, page 44.
Okay.
I don't know. It just seems to be that you thought it might be the first one, and maybe that's the message.
So Peggy, are you on this phone too, or what's going on? Because they were saying as you did that, why don't you read the first one then? I think,
Oh, it's almost like we're all connected.
yeah, I know.
Imagine that.
How about it? Go imagine. Oh, I think it's 44. It is. Okay. Oh, the pipe. The sacred pipe. Pipe of my forefathers. Teach me to sing praise for all the gifts that great mystery gave. Allow me to know my spirit's release and bring to my heart eternal peace. The pipe, prayer and inner peace. And the teaching. From the moment the great white buffalo calf woman appeared to the Sioux Nation, the pipe has been a sacred medicine shared by the brothers and sisters of Native America as a way to pray, speak truth, and heal wounded or broken relationships. We were given the pipe to send our prayers and gratitude to Great Mystery and to signify peace among all nations, tribes, and clans. The bowl of the pipe represents the female aspect of all living things, and the stem is a symbol of the male aspect in all life forms. When the stem is placed in the bowl, the act signifies union, creation, and fertility. Sound a little bit like the other teachings we've had so far? When the pipe is loaded, each pinch of tobacco is blessed, as each branch of our relationships is asked to enter the pipe in their spirit forms to be honored and smoked. We honor Mother Earth, Father Sky, Grandfather Sun, Grandmother Moon, the four directions, the standing people, the trees, the stone people, and the winged ones, the fin ones, the four-leggeds, the creepy crawlies, and the great star nation, the star brothers and sisters, the subterraneums, the thunder beings, and the four chief spirits, air, earth, water, and fire, and all other two-leggeds in the human family. Now I stop for a breath. So, and that is how the Chanupa, the sacred pipe, was taught to me. In smoking the pipe, it's of the utmost importance to smoke every pinch of tobacco that's loaded into the bowl. Each flake of tobacco has taken spirit into its body and is honored as having the essence of all relations in its form. If the fire, which is a part of the eternal flame of life, does not touch and ignite the tobacco, the spirit is inside cannot be released in smoke. Or, as I was taught, and I think most were, if you leave any tobacco in the pipe that's not smoked, your prayers don't go up to Creator. They're stuck in the bowl. And so it's always really important, whoever is leading the ceremony, when the Chanupa gets back around to them, that they smoke it until you're sure there's nothing left. There's no more smoke coming out. I'm just putting these little bits in for those who are not familiar with any of this. To empty out a bowl that has not been fully smoked is to commit a grave error and dishonors those spirits who have come to smoke with us. The reckless use of the sacred pipe can stifle the willingness of spirits to assist us in our quest for wholeness. The smoke from the pipe represents visualized prayer and reminds us of the Spirit in all things. We understand that all life comes from great mystery and will return to that original source. Due to this understanding, we know that we are all walking the same path, stepping on each spoke of the sacred hoop or the wheel of life, medicine wheel. We find union with all our relations when we share the pipe. The essence of every living creature enters us when we smoke them, and we carry their spirits inside our bodies. We're reminded that the harmony is attained through sacred union with all our fellow beings. We never place the spirit of any life form outside of ourselves, since through the pipe we have asked them to enter our being and share our sacred space and life experience. To be a pipe carrier is an honor and a calling. The pipe carrier can be called on to smoke at births, deaths, marriages, rites of passes, contractual agreements, councils, special purification ceremonies, moon meditations, there's moon again, or when anyone needs comfort, prayers, or wishes to give thanks. And in the way, if you are asked to bring your pipe and open it, unless there's some real physical reason you can't do it, you do it. So you've accepted that if you're going to carry a pipe, as long as you're being asked in a good way. It's through visions or dreams, usually from long preparation and purification, one is called upon to be a pipe carrier. The path of the pipe carrier is not a fad or a trend. It's a way of life that comes from the heart. The medicine way is a long and narrow trail of discovery with constant rebirth. It should never be treated in a frivolous manner. Pipe carriers are guardians of sacred tradition and ceremony. They serve the people as a pastor or rabbi serves in a traditional church or synagogue. The aspect of the teaching the pipe has to do with peace is multi-leveled. In the modern world, we often look at peace as the absence of war, but peace represents more in the native way of thinking. Peace is a way of acting, knowing, creating, listening, speaking, and or living. In all instances, peace comes from within our own being. This peace is the balance of recognizing and honoring male, female, teaching, learning, humility, pride, and every other aspect of living in harmony, in balance. It is not something that can be weighed except by self. If there was to be a measure, it be measured by the capacity of the heart to remain open, serene, and unafraid. And the application, the pipe card speaks of inner peace that can be found through the balancing of self. It is now time to honor both sides of your nature, male and female, and to acknowledge the eternal flame of great mystery that lives inside of you. How you influence the lives of others depends upon this balance. Inner peace can be found through prayer and the understanding of your role in the whole of creation. World peace begins in the heart of each individual. It may be time to make peace with others or with any inner conflict that keeps you from seeing the beauty of your true potential. In all cases, the pipe card asks you to honor the blessings given by great mystery. It asks you to honor who you are and why you are there. It asks you to know how you can assist the world. In making peace with the self, these questions will be answered, and the sacred path will become clear. So, yeah, that's an interesting one to start with. And I knew that was there because that one is asked for a lot. It is a huge commitment. When I was first offered the opportunity, Two Bears, who was my primary teacher, he was Lakota, he had me carry my pipe that they gifted me for 4 years. And I was to have it with me all the time. I could only put it on the side when I showered or went in the water. And I wasn't to open it. So for 4 years, I carried it and I learned about it and I felt it. But I couldn't open it. I just simply carried it. And then finally one day, we went into a lodge and there were a bunch of elders there and I was permitted to open the pipe with their guidance. And I was honored, I was scared, I was so many things. All I remember is tears were streaming down my face as I did it. And at first I had this fear of how can I do this? You know, my elders here, they've been doing this for 40 years and I'm, 6 years into it or whatever at that point. But as soon as you begin something like that, if you have done the proper preparation, which is exactly why Two Bears had me carry it for so long, you suddenly know you're doing what you need to do, you know how to do it, and you're fine. And that's what happened. So that's my little bit of pipe story. Jerry, you got anything to add to this one?
You mean you couldn't just take a shaman course at college and become an instant pipe carrier?
I took 3 shaman courses. They were $1,000 each. My God, I was a shaman. And yeah, Kai is sending up parts. So Jerry, go ahead, and then we'll see if Kai has something to say.
Actually, let's see what Kai has to say. I know Kai. I
Okay.
met Kai and several of the people earlier this week. So go ahead, Kai. Would you like to speak?
Hey, I appreciate you all sharing your stories and your wisdom. I apologize for coming in late. I think I got the time mixed up. Um, I was just sending out love because I love the sharing and teaching. I know nothing about it. I've just heard about pipe carriers and that they bring healing, but that's as little as I knew. And I'm sorry I'm not turning on my camera. I'm fighting a cold still. So much love to y'all. Thank you for this.
Thank you for being here, Kai. And there is no early or late. You arrived just when you needed to. what seems to be the general theme to continue with these cards, instead of speaking more about the pipe, is the general message that Spirit is giving us. Balance, taking care of ourselves first, finding that place of peace within. It's only then can someone be a pipe carrier. The teaching goes that I love is that everything begins within. You can't give it away unless it is first alive within you. Same thing with, what's going on in the world today. Every morning, I spend hours sometimes, and sometimes at night, making sure that I'm in a good space before I begin my day, and then I offer up my prayers for everyone and everything. I have to be in balance myself before I can be of service to others. With these times that we're going through, there's so many things that will call for our attention, and our spirit will be scattered. And we have to go here, we have to go there, we have to go there. The first thing we have to do is go there from a place of peace, from within. We have to find that first. There's a teaching that I shared that I'll share again with this circle called the Wheel of Truth. One of the steps upon that wheel is hear. What it means is that you first have to hear harmony, not around you, not hearing with your ears. You have to hear harmony within. Then you can give it away. Many times I've walked that wheel, followed that teaching, and I've had to pause at that spot before I went forward, because, to be honest with myself, there wasn't harmony within. I couldn't hear that harmony within. That's the most important thing that we need to do. And once again, I catch myself saying those words, we need to. This most important thing, I'll only speak for myself. The thing that I need to do is make sure that I'm in balance. So only then can I help others. And so many things, like we joked around about the shaman course and everything. There is no quick step, easy way to anything. But what I've found is that everything begins within. We can't give anything, we can't help the world be what we want to be if we don't have it inside of us first. Talking stick in the middle.
Yeah, and I think the one thing I would add to that list of things coming tonight is that connection of the masculine and the feminine. That's been the backdrop for each one of these pieces, which is strong, powerful. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Jerry. It's the title thing, the I am people. I've always kind of chuckled at the I am people, although I've seen it cause people pain too. I am a healer. I am a teacher. I am a shaman. I am. You look at their page and it looks like where the only thing that really matters is, what do your peers say of you? What does your community say of you? And so that's in the way a lot of us were taught. That's what's important. And so the labeling done by others has meaning. How you label yourself, not so much. And even if you take, 20 shaman courses, I'm sorry, you're not a shaman necessarily. And if you're old, you can become older. You can become a place of knowledge, but you're not an elder until your community points and says, "Oh, here's one of our elders." And it may sound something that's not big, it's insignificant, but it's not. It is really an important piece, because ego can't enter into this. When ego enters into things, it's too much ego, I should say. When ego's out of balance, it can destroy things. And look around. There's just a wee bit of ego all over the planet right now, way out of balance. And ego and entitlement. So Yeah. And all the cards fit together for me. Maybe because I'm so used to it, but to me, they fit together just beautifully. It's like I could write a whole story out of what we just pulled tonight. Kira.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It really it touched something in me that I have been also noticing around like ego and feminine and masculine, and something I've been noticing is how yeah, ego out of balance. There's also like the not owning your power, right? Not owning who you are and what you're capable of. And so I want to just be clear that I hear you around people who are saying, I am a shaman, and how flagrantly these are lies, right? They're just untruths that people are sharing to boost up their ego or to deal with fear or whatever it is. And also around me, I have these really powerhouse women who have been so beaten down by this imbalanced egos that they don't have enough of an ego to say I do this, I am capable of this, I can help with. And it's just, and they're starting to come into it, right? They're starting to learn. They're older than me, and realizing how they've given away their power and how they're just starting to step into it. So I feel like there's been this real connection of this masculine and feminine balance through all of the conversations and cards and things that we've pulled tonight. And as well, I think when we think about ego, we think about you got to break down the ego so that you can see the truth. And I just would love to add this little pin that yes, and it is important because the ego is there to tell us about something. It has something to share with us. And so it is important, I think, to again find a balance with the ego so that we can still own our power. We can still live into our power and claim who we are. So yeah, thanks for sharing that and enlivening something in me. This is very fun.
That's what this is supposed to do. So yeah, and you're right. I would say, and there's a lot of people I know, a lot now, and some of that is walking away from, we talked about earlier, who have huge potential. But they may have to completely change their life to start to walk in it. And some are, and some are not. Some will need more time to accept it. But rather than saying, I am, I prefer, I could be. I could evolve into that and then wait for your community to say, or your peers, wow, you are this or that. And you can say, I work with, and I did this for years, I work with shamanic energy because I do. Or I work with plant medicine because I do. But never saying I am the epitome of something. Yeah, it's really interesting. And words in this become really critical. And I was chatting with someone today who's gone through some of that identity issues you're talking about, Kira. And she has, um, in my view, she has pushed herself back down. She's pointing out and blaming others for pushing her down, but it's always a joint effort. And so when you start to look inside, then you can see, oh, maybe that person did this or that, but I also did this. How do I respond? How do I grow? And I've been through that too, so I get it. I understand it. Yeah, I think that's all I need to go with that. Ooh, this is good. And Kara, while you're on there, you said animal card. To what do you speak? Pick an animal card?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. I'm much more
Okay.
interested in hearing what Peggy has to say.
Me too. Peggy, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand up.
Oh, that's okay. I'm just listening too. I appreciate that. I'm going to tell you a funny little story that connects a couple of these circles to these cards. So the first time I listened to the medicine circle in the morning, which was about 13 days ago, it was Chief Steve. And it was about his chanupa and the stories of his of carrying the pipe and it going around in ceremony. And then he found out I was from Ontario, and so he told the story of having come up to Ontario, and I don't know where, but the teaching that he brought with him, and it was asked to bring with him in his heart, was that because it was only the men carrying the pipe. And Steve felt very compelled to start to share that it was time for the women to carry the pipe. That was fairly new at the time. I'm not sure how many years ago. So he tells this story to us in his meditation. So then I had to share my story, and I will share this. I go up to the Algonquin Park, up to the traditional powwow grounds every August. We have community and great, beautiful space. And of course, that all ended over COVID. And so we hadn't seen each other, all of us, for quite a few years. And then they started up. I didn't get back up the first time it was opened. And there was always a beautiful women's circle. It was always part of the powwow. We had a special place, a special location, a grandmother pine tree that we gathered at. And that was the women's grounds were there. And the concept of gathering as women, people were busy and things didn't happen. So I was sad because I really appreciated that time with the women. Anyway, so this year in August, it went up, and it was while we were at powwow, which is always the second week of August, and you're more than welcome to come. It was full moon. So it was organized completely that day that we were going to have a full moon circle at the sacred fire. And so there were a lot of women came out, and many women who'd never been to a sacred fire, and the fire keeper handed over the authority for the fire, etc. And I mean, it's just always done in such a beautiful way. And it doesn't matter whether you know or don't know, or it's just always taught in such a beautiful way. And here's the joy of it. We had 3 women pipe carriers in that circle of 24. We had 3 women pipe carriers carrying the medicine in a beautiful way. So the seeds that grandfather Steve planted, whenever he planted them, have come into fruition. And it speaks to the cards we've had and the rebalancing of the male and female roles and responsibilities and all of the rules that have been introduced too, that are maybe not going to be the rules that we want to fit in with how we're going to proceed. So I just think that story of the 3 women pipe carriers connects back to all of these cards and what everybody's been sharing. So once again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Peggy. Yeah, very, very, very good. Yeah, and I've been involved in some of those things like that too. There was the drums. That was one. So my partner at the time and I carried a big drum, powwow drum, and we would go and do programs through my nonprofit. And of course, we'd go in a lot of the reses because a lot of friends, family there. And so we were one of the first who brought a big drum into Navajo land and opened it up to men, women, and children. And that was quite interesting. So the first time some of the women came and drummed with us, the men just sat in the back with relatively unhappy faces. But by the third time we came and we were talking each time and creating energy, then the men started to come too. And so we started drumming together. So, and that's not to say that some of the customs do not deserve to be kept the way they are, but it can also be in a balance. Sure, you want to have the men's circle drumming, that's fine, but then let's have other times, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with the sweat lodge. It used to be the men were here, the women were here. Now we all do, or most of us do, joint ones. So yeah, and the pipe carriers, very similar. There's some things that will stay with one gender, like the lodge we've been talking about all night. There's really not much purpose in a man being there, but most things I think can come into balance. So it's available to whoever wants to partake. So thank you. That's a really neat piece, Peggy. Wow. What else? You triggered something as you were talking, but I lost it. It'll come back if it has to. Oh, here we go. I know what it was. I'm sorry, Tom. It was something Tom had asked. For, hey, Jerry, are you there? We might have to wait. I'll do something else. He was asking if Jerry would talk a little bit about the eighth fire and or does he have a story around the eighth fire? So we'll see when Jerry comes back if he can do that. The eighth fire, just thumbnail sketch for those who don't know. Starting in the time of the eighth fire now. The eighth fire is supposed to be is prophesized to be, not supposed to be, prophesized to be a time of spiritual growth and peace and harmony coming out of the seventh fire, which we've been in and we're still in, which is destructive and painful and not in a peaceful way. Hey, Jerry, did you hear that at all?
Enough of it to catch the gist of it, yes.
Yeah, Tom asked if you would talk a little bit about the eighth fire, or did you have a story a little bit about the eighth fire? I just explained briefly the eighth fire.
Thank you, Tom. I am Menominee. I'm not Ojibwe. Um, I haven't been given permission to share anything about the stories about the Eighth Fire. I believe from what I heard from what Jim shared, that would be about the extent of what I can share also, not having the responsibility given to me to speak of such things. Um, but yeah, it coincides with all the other prophecies
Mhm.
that this is the time that fire will be reignited, relit. A new fire will be formed. A new earth will. We were going into a new earth. We're going to a new time, a new beginning.
Mhm.
And I think that's pretty much echoed everything that Jim said.
Yeah. So I know, I think Jerry and I are in the same place. To share the bit that I did is fine. We could share a little bit more around that, but that's pretty much it. I have heard some of the stories. I've sat at those fires, but I likewise have not been told I can share them, so I don't. I could ask at some point, but it just hasn't turned up yet. So, okay, but good question. And I think just the fact that we're heading into the time of the eighth fire is a really um, good thing to remember. Taking us out of the chaos and into the peace, which is, to me, that's the two big pieces of it. Okay, where are we? Wow, we're almost there. Anything else, anybody? Anything else has to get dipped in here? Anything we haven't hit that's important to be here? Kara, anything like that?
And this has also been described as
Go
the
ahead.
time of the birth of the phoenix, right? The birth of the phoenix. If you
Uh-huh.
imagine that the earth is an egg, is a phoenix egg, and at that time, as soon as it lifts off off the earth, that will be in a new paradigm. The earth will shift and be in a new paradigm, and it's the rebirth, really, of humanity. Is what I've been led to believe at this birth. And so we're in that. If you're giving birth to a child, there's a point in that is very chaotic just before the birth. It's called transition. So the earth we're in a birth transition. We're actually, you can imagine that the earth is giving birth to itself in its new way.
Yeah, that's good. I was on with some Mayan friends and families who are in Central America the other day, and their way of stating it is we're in the birth channel now. And I would agree with that, and a little bit different on that, but the same thing, I guess. In their tradition, it's the phoenix comes down and burns everything to ash, which has to happen. So we have a clean garden to plant in, if you will. And we certainly have been seeing that. And then the phoenix becomes Thunderbird, the other aspect of phoenix. And Thunderbird is the one that then lifts us up into the new realm. Um, so I think it's basically the same thing, but I always kind of liked that transition from phoenix to Thunderbird. And now we always see the phoenix surrounded by fire. At least I always do, pretty much in any depiction. So yeah, good one. Thank you for that. That was a nice piece to have in there. Anything else? Jerry, good.
Yes. Fire is an element. We're seeing wildfires. We're seeing decimate areas. We're seeing fire being looked at and vilified. Fire also represents the fire of our spirit, and it is that spirit of life that is doing the purification. We are rebalancing. We are coming forth in a new way. All the things that we've been learned over these last 4 worlds, we have to take the best of those things to go forward and let that fire of our spirit, the fire of truth from within us, let that delineate and be the guide as to what we carry into this next world, what we carry in ourselves as we walk into this next space. That's all that they've given me to say about that. As Forrest Gump says, that's all I have to say about that.
Yes, and no, and you're right. It's but again, when we're talking about balance, a lot of us are water protectors. A lot who listen to these shows are water protectors. A lot of our friends up there in Pine Ridge are water protectors. We served with them at Standing Rock. And what is the balance to water? Fire. So it's important to remember we have to have both. We need balance. I'm reminded of the huge fires in Yellowstone. People probably all remember that. There were the huge fires that burned down so much of Yellowstone. And it was just lamented how horrible it was, and Yellowstone will never be the same, and blah, 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 blah. And then a year or so after that, new growth started popping up. And then not long after that, I was with Colorado State at the time, and I was lucky enough to be one of the people who worked a bit on the wolf reintroduction educational programs. And so I was up there and watched the wolves come back. And then I watched Balance in the Park. So what, 5 years after it happened, everyone realized the mistake that was made was humans trying to manage that area instead of letting the fires happen when they needed to. And it's really changed a lot of ways we handle things now. So what we thought was an atrocity to the natural area actually put it back in balance. So yeah, Jerry, you're so right. And none of the elements are good or bad.
Yeah, that's linear way of thinking.
Yep.
It's either this way or the other way.
Yeah.
Everything is balance.
Yeah. And it's easy to get trapped in it. I still get trapped in it at times. I get trapped in all these things at times. We're still human. So those who don't make mistakes, I have run into some of them in my life. It simply means they're not doing anything. So that's all I have to say there. I think we're running the clock out pretty much. Are we ready? Does everyone feel? Oops.
Anything more from Pine Ridge before we go?
Both Pine Ridge and the grandmothers are, well, from Pine Ridge, Wapala, what an amazing program. Thank you. Thank you. Jim, I know you're busy, but could you get this one up quickly? Okay, I will. Don't worry. I'll have it up by tomorrow, I swear. And the grandmothers are saying also, yes, this was amazing. Thank you. We went in so many directions, but it was actually one direction. Yeah. Yep. And I think that's what kind of we've been saying. Jerry's certainly hit on that for sure. All these things are related. So glad you guys enjoyed it. You're a big part of it. Everyone here is a big part of it. Once again, these circles are Jerry and I are here to facilitate them, to help guide them, but they're not about us. They're about everybody. Whoever shows up, And those, we have a lot of people who listen to them afterwards and then are asking questions as well. And that's also a good one. So anyone hearing this as you go on, if you like this, if this program was helpful, instructive, any of us here, when I get it up, spread it out, put it in groups that I don't put it in, so other people have a chance to see it. Because if they're helping right now, anything that helps right now is a big plus in my world. It's real easy to trip over yourself right now. And Peggy, the way you brought in hope at the beginning, thank you. You absolutely set the energetic stage for where we went. Okay, and is that Denise?
Denise?
Do you do these like how often?
Ah, that's an excellent question. And I didn't do that at the beginning. I was trying to juggle too many things. Yeah, we do these weekly
Okay.
on Tuesday, and we're probably going to be offering some things um, like special things, and we'll talk about that. We have a group in Facebook, a Gathering of Eagles. If you want to find out more, go there because we post it. Jerry and I post everything there. And I've had some requests, and I had a friend here for a few days, a woman friend of mine, about the same age as me. So we've walked through a little bit in our years. I'm 76 now. And we realized how many of the things that were major events we didn't know at the time, one or both of us walked through. And I've had requests from people before to talk about some of that. What did we experience? How did it work? And if she's willing to do it with me, I'll put a show up on that, or I'll do it myself, or Jerry will jump in and do it with me, whatever. But it's sometimes by looking at the past, we understand the present, and we don't repeat the things that maybe we don't want to repeat. So, and we'll probably have other things like that that will pop up. Is that a good way of putting it, Jer? Did I miss anything?
I think you did a good job. This is your circle. So if all of you could go to the Gathering of Eagles page, and if there's a need, speak about what you would like to hear. Speak about it, because that's how, the demand that's needed is what how we choose what we choose each week for the circles. And this is our circle.
Okay,
All of
thank
us.
you.
I
You
just want to
can,
thank all of you for being here.
yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. If you can't find the group or whatever, you can find either Jerry or I online, and we'll guide you there. I don't have the link right now, but a Gathering of Eagles, which is part of our nonprofit, Sanctuaries of the Earth Mother. Now you're all thoroughly confused. Ah, how about taking us out, Jerry?
Normally I just speak it in Hopi, but I'm going to say it in English right now. Grandmother Earth, Creator, the four elements of life, guardians of the four directions, spirits of our ancestors, spirits of those yet to come, yet to be born. Hear this voice we send to you. Hear this heart. I am Soy Ingwa, and I send up my gratitude for guiding this circle, for guiding each one of us, for surrounding us always with your love, your guidance, your protection. I just have a heart full of gratitude right now for so much. I thank for everyone that could be here. I thank for everyone that will hear this. I thank for everyone that are at Pine Ridge, for the grandmothers and for the young, for each one of us. Those who are here, those who could not be here, those who are here in spirit. There is only we, no me. All my relations. Oh.
Oh, yeah, perfect, perfect. And to the grandmothers and the young women when they get together, um, I will be there with you in spirit, and I'm sure others will too. And we have great gratitude for that sort of thing happening. It's exactly what needs to happen. And um, yeah, I joke a lot about the old line from What was it? Anyway, my heart soars like an eagle. So my heart's soaring like an eagle to see those things happen. Thanks to everybody. Blessings to all. I will put this up, since I promised, by sometime tomorrow. I'm really busy with some meetings, but that's okay. This is important. And all of you participated and contributed. That's also amazing and awesome. Yeah, that's it for now. Bye all.